He did not like that I am a woman living alone and asked me many intimate personal questions. How much money I make, my mortgage. He demanded the security code for my place.
Who supports you? You're a woman.
Well, obviously I know who's who when we get to the end of this, but he demanded the security code. He demanded I do his laundry, make phone calls for him, wash his dishes.
Secretarial duties.
Hey guys. Welcome to another episode of Once Upon A Bnb. This is Maha.
This is Ian, and we got a couple stories we want to talk about with you in the absence of a guest.
Yeah. So this one was pretty interesting. Basically, there's this Airbnb in Austin. They check in, and they had the host had a pool table blocking the entrance to the master bedroom. So they were like, okay, maybe the cleaners just forgot to put it back when they cleaned. So there's like 4 little divots in the carpet where the pool table was. So they moved the pool table back there.
So the master was like supposedly included in the Airbnb, wasn't?
Yeah, right. The master was part of the listing. It wasn't like extra. So they moved the pool table back to the divots. And then after they check out, they get a message from the owner saying that they need to pay $500 to get the pool table leveled because they moved it.
That's absurd.
Like, there's no way for them to get into the master bedroom without moving the pool table. They moved it, and now he's like charging them $500 to level it. What's it called? Airbnb Let It Ride actually charged the guy $500, but then he called his credit card company and they reversed the charge.
Where the fuck is Airbnb siding with the host?
I know.
This is
Never
so absurd.
happens.
Never happens unless you're trying to like sexually traffic people. Then
And
they're
then
like,
sometimes,
then
like
they'll-
not
they'll
even all the time.
Then they'll maybe side with the get. Yeah, that's because in my life I don't think I've ever been sided with. I mean, it happens,
Same.
but like it's such a you're pulling teeth. I just don't see how they get away with it.
Right.
$500. Did they play? Did they play any pool? Didn't say.
I don't know, but he said that it was like up against a wall, like it was in the same spot it had been. It obviously didn't need to be level. Also, what is this, like a pool competition hall? Does it need to be perfectly leveled? That's so weird.
Yeah, and like don't put it in a spot where it's got to be moved.
Is that even really a service that exists?
Leveling
pool table leveling?
I've owned a pool table in college, so I don't think that counts. It's a good benchmark because we didn't care about
Right.
leveling. And then, growing up at Abu's house, my grandfather never mentioned us having to level it, especially.
Yeah, it sounds like a scam. It sounds like he put the pool table there on purpose so they would have to move it. They're like, what, we're supposed to crawl under it or what? Like, what a weird ass specific
Well, I guess,
scam.
all right, I'm just thinking about a bedroom door. It's going to swing into the bedroom.
Yeah, maybe it was French doors.
Okay, yeah. But I'm just saying most likely
That's what I
scenario is that
pictured.
you probably could just crawl under in there.
Right, but why would you rather than just move it to where it clearly
it
was
needs to go.
before?
No, I agree. That's some fuck shit. That was on the news?
It was not on the news. I just found like a page with Airbnb stories.
Okay, that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, did they like at least put the owner on blast or anything fun like that? No screenshots.
No.
Come with some
This is
receipts,
not,
guys.
This is not clip reviews. It's stories. There's no screenshots.
They should still come with receipts.
They should, yeah. Yeah, there's not really pictures in this.
And you'd think like you'd be so pissed off at Airbnb that you would have sent a bunch of messages and then you would have found some receipts and send that to them.
Right.
And then share
If you're
that
posting it on the internet. it's
with your
like-
Reddit friends or whoever this was posted.
This one, they also like on this page just add like random little Airbnb facts. So not all people know this, but the name of the company has its roots from when Brian Chesky and his roommates had a hard time making ends meet, so they rented out an air mattress on their living room.
Oh, I know this story.
Oh yeah,
It was-
of course you do.
well,
we know this story.
Yeah, it's from this. He has a TED talk where he talks about it. And like the first night, he like met someone at the bar or something like that like wanted to stay in his house. He's like agreed to do it, and he like needed some extra money anyways. I think he charged him, and so then he like gets home and he's like, wait a second, this guy could be a serial killer, and it's like getting his own head.
Yeah.
And that's like where the like the review system like came about.
Oh wow.
And he said like with the review before the review system, people would only trust people that are like similar to them, like in age and demographic shit.
Yeah.
And then when you so like you would only rent to people similar than you, but if you factor in reviews from the community, then all of a sudden people feel comfortable renting to anyone. Essentially,
That makes sense.
except for apparently black people, because that's why they outlawed pictures. Until
Right,
you get
because
into the
people are
house.
just being racist.
Not that you can't figure it out. Usually from names.
You mean Jaquavius is not white? What?
I've had a misleading name apparently. There's
Ian?
Yeah, I thought it's Irish, but
Yeah, I know black Ians and white Ians, but actually I know more black Ians
that's what
than
I'm
white
saying.
Ians.
Like it's an
But
Irish
we're also
name.
in Atlanta. It's just
That's true, but anyways.
well, the CEO also listed his own property as well on Airbnb
Is his
as
name
the
Brian
headquarters.
something?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say. Well, my cousin, I won't say which one, is that he's a piece of shit.
Really? How does
Yeah.
he know him?
She knows. Oh, there are no more data put on who that was, but she knows him. I think just like tech circle or whatever, and he sucks.
I know which cousin. So this other person, they woke up to an email saying that they had booked a $500 a night room in NYC. They hadn't. They try to log into their Airbnb account, can't log in. They call Airbnb customer service.
I'm a little confused, but I'll let you continue.
It gets dumb at the end of the story. It might be the thing that you're confused about. They call Airbnb customer service. They tell them to log in and cancel it. He's like, obviously I can't log in. And they're like, sorry, can't do anything. He asks if they could at least lock his account so no further bookings can occur. Nope. Asked if they could verify him in some other way. Nope. Asked if they could contact the person whose suite had been rented and warn them that it's not really him. Nope. They said all they could do is send it to investigations by email. Who would respond? Time goes by. Nobody responds.
Sounds about right.
So then finally, this idiot, which would have been my first thought, thought to log into the app on his phone, and like the token still worked and it's still logged in. So he was able to like contact them then and like
I've had
cancel
issues
it.
with this where like I have to like review, like go back to the original email and see like where it gives you like all the contact info, because they'll like lock your ass out for some dumb shit.
Oh, really?
Airbnb. Yeah.
Well, yeah, somebody had just hacked his shit and was like booking rooms on Airbnb, and Airbnb was just like, sorry. So yeah, and then he ended up eventually just canceling his Airbnb account because they never got back to him. He called his credit card company, explained what happened, and they gave him a refund again. But Airbnb was like, sorry. So somebody literally could have just like ran up like a $10,000 tab on his Airbnb, or even, just gotten him really bad reviews doing a bunch of fuck shit.
Yeah. I feel like when I've had some serious fuck shit happening in terms of my guests, it's been like some girl that like let them like use like, her Airbnb, and then they play dumb afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what happened to me. That's why I now like get if I use Verbo, or wait, it's VRBO, isn't it? Is it?
Yeah, VRBO.
Okay.
Every time.
I always forget.
Whatever.
These are fake Airbnb. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like the Lyft of Airbnb. I'll use it if Uber,
Right, exactly.
if I remember to check a cheaper price from Uber.
Yeah. All right, this other story. So this girl booked a one-night stay at an Airbnb for a Saturday. She calls the host and says she wants to cancel. The host is like, why? She's like, oh, it's raining. I don't feel like driving in the rain. The host is like, no, that's not a valid reason to cancel.
There's an act of God clause.
Yeah. But she's
It's for
actually like,
hurricanes.
I'll allow the refund minus the 15% of the base rate. The girl decides to come anyway. So she comes. Fast forward to checkout. She calls.
Suffers the rain.
Yeah, right. She drives through the rain. Fast forward to checkout. She calls 2 hours after checkout in a panic and says someone in her group lost her ticket and her birth certificate, and she needs it to get on the cruise, I guess, that they're going on.
Oh, so just like one night before they're in like Port Canaveral or something like that.
Also, was she going to just skip the whole cruise because it was raining and she didn't want to drive? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
No, I'm glad
Obviously,
you
it was a
pointed that out.
lie,
Yeah.
right? So, the guests go back over to look for the items. The cleaner was there cleaning the house, so she's like, cool, y'all can go back, like, try to find this stuff. She makes the cleaner go through 5 full bags of garbage to find the envelope.
Oh, so they
Doesn't
found
find it.
Oh, okay.
No. Nowhere to be found. She wants her to check the other units that she's cleaning, even though they never went in there. They let them check the other units, not in there. So the guest calls again and says, I think your cleaner took my birth certificate.
Yeah, most cleaners.
He's like,
not
no.
American. They need the birth certificates, right?
That's exactly what she said. They're like, I tell her that my cleaner saves things like random shoestrings, lost socks, pamphlets for conventions, brochures, half-used deodorant, like shit I wish she would throw away, she keeps. She's definitely not stealing anything.
That is a weird aside about the cleaner being a little bit of a hoarder.
Right. Like the convention pamphlet.
I keep those because I'm like, I got my name on it. Yeah.
Right.
But
Well,
to
yeah.
keep a stranger's convention,
Yeah, like when you're cleaning,
even
like just in
weirder.
case somebody needs this, like that's basically
Maybe for like a day or two, but like to just have it.
right. And he's like, I allowed her to start her own business. She has 3 people working for her.
Selling convention pamphlets.
No, like cleaners. When she started, she's like schlepping an infant around while she cleaned houses. Now she's got 3 employees, her own LLC. Like she's not going to
And that
jeopardize
infant's a
this
toddler now.
job. And the guest says she doesn't speak American good. Neither do you, honey. And she's probably illegal or something like that.
It should be illegal the way you use grammar.
Exactly. The host is like, she's a legal resident. She's even LLC'd her own company, and she's not going to jeopardize this job over that. And they're like, can you come help search her? They want the host to come search the cleaner physically. They're like, absolutely not. Like, I have no reason to doubt that she's telling the truth. Like, she's had the opportunity to steal diamond earrings, laptops, like a bunch of like cash, and hasn't done it. She's always like told me like so-and-so left this here.
Leave, money and shit for
Just to
your
see.
cleaners. Test them out. Yeah.
Well,
I don't
even-
do a good job of doing that, but I should.
Me either. In my head, I'm like, I should do that. But apparently, like, even when guests leave tips for her, she'll refuse to take it. She's like, no, she tells the host. And they're still like, well, how do you know she isn't trying to sell my birth certificate on the black market?
Probably because it's worth less than your fucking diamonds that she didn't steal. you dummy.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. And yeah, he says, she doesn't even take tips. So, he's like, honestly, I'm not comfortable with this line of questioning. My cleaner's the shit. You're a piece of shit. Like, no, thank you. And they're like, where's the last place you saw the birth certificate? They probably just left it at home. She's like, at home. So I'm sure they never even brought it and just had this poor lady.
Your dumbass is not getting on that Caribbean cruise.
Right,
Or whatever,
exactly.
I'm assuming. I think it's a fair assumption.
I've noticed you say Caribbean. I feel like
Caribbean?
it's both. It's definitely both, but I feel like I say Caribbean when I'm talking about the Caribbean, and only Caribbean when it's
I'm talking
Pirates
about
of. Only Pirates of is the Caribbean.
That kind of reminds me of, I'm just going to, I don't know this to be true, but like for Medellin, Colombia.
Yeah, people always think I'm being like extra fancy when I say Medellin. I'm like, that's how they say it.
Well, that's how some of them say it.
Did not all
There's a
of them say it?
split. No, there's a split.
Oh.
Yeah, like amongst my employees, like some say Medellin, some say Medellin. At first I thought I was like, oh, now I got it right. And I was like, it's Medellin. That's how I sound local. And then I come back and I'm like, wait a second. That guy said Medellin.
Maybe they're saying it to you to
fuck with me?
Americanize it. No, to Americanize it. Like, that's how Americans
No,
say it.
I've
like,
gotten to the bottom of this. Well, not fully, but
Is it like where you're from in Medellin?
it could be like a
Medellin?
British thing where like you can tell like what neighborhood. I think it's
Yeah.
like, but some say I don't know which some, but some people say Medellin and some say Medellin in Colombia. In
Yeah.
Medellin or, Meta, whatever.
Yeah. I feel like every time I say it, people are looking at me like I'm trying to be extra fancy
Yeah,
Hispanic.
like overpronouncing it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, that's what they say. Okay. This one, tell me who you think is who in this story. I think I know. But all right. So she just starts the story with, he didn't have any concept about the idea of Airbnb being not merely a place to sleep, but also to meet locals and learn about the local culture.
Is that a sentiment for the host or the guest?
This is what the host is saying about the
I
guest.
thought
Yeah.
you were going to maybe guess.
He did not like that I am a woman living alone and asked me many intimate personal questions. How much money I make, my mortgage. He demanded the security code for my place.
Who supports you? You're a woman.
Well, obviously I know who's who when we get to the end of this, but he demanded the security code. He demanded I do his laundry, make phone calls for him, wash his dishes.
Secretarial duties.
And when I informed him I wouldn't do so, he got angry and said, in my country, women do all that. Why not you?
You're a host, right?
Right, exactly.
That's funny.
And then he swore at her. He constantly ogled me and it was extremely uncomfortable. She said maybe it was a cultural difference.
Now, this may be a cultural difference, but I call it oogled.
Oogled? Is it ogled or oogled?
I call it oogled.
Oogled sounds better.
I don't think I oogle anyone, but maybe
well, there's
I
only
ogle.
one O, though.
I just always said oogled.
I don't think I've ever said it out loud. She
That's
said
good. You don't
maybe
have
it's
to-
a cultural difference, Middle East versus North America. Who do you think is who?
Shocker. Yeah, I'm married into the culture, and it's definitely American.
So this other story, these 2 teens in London, their parents booked them this Airbnb, and their parents were like, calling the host, like super worried about everything, blah, blah, blah. Skip to 2 days later, they're woken up by a call at 2 a.m., the host, from one of the girls frantic saying they've been arrested, but she wouldn't say why. So he calls their parents and he's like, I'm going to go down to the precinct. I don't know what's going on. He said they seemed a little airheaded but nice. The parents were like, oh my gosh, freaking out. So he gets to the precinct and he finds out that the girls broke into the apartment one floor down and were trashing it. And apparently they thought that the whole thing was like a motel versus just this like one Airbnb that was rented. And I don't know how that justifies breaking
I
in and
thought you were gonna
trashing it.
say the whole thing was just their Airbnb.
I mean, that's what I thought too when I was reading it at first. But yeah,
No,
apparently
there's-
they thought it was just like one big motel.
Are
and
you
they're
allowed
like,
to just fuck up motels if you want to?
exactly. This still doesn't really make sense. But yeah, and then the neighbors were like, the parents were acting weird about it, like they didn't believe that their girls would do that or something.
Not
The
my
neighbors,
Sarah.
right? Exactly. And then the neighbors like ended up pressing charges, and they're like, oh,
And they were all concerned about their children.
yeah, exactly.
Beforehand.
These
That's
little
also all right.
badass
I
girls.
wonder how old they are. Like when because all right, if you're old enough to like not need your parents to be involved with your booking Airbnb, then how if you're not old enough for that, then how fucking young are you? You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
yeah,
Like how
exactly.
old were these kids?
Right. They must have been like actual kids.
Yeah,
But
and
still,
then,
yeah, I don't
which
understand
makes me question
how-
their parenting.
Right. Yep.
Not that I'm a parent, other than for dogs. Dogs. Those are some fascinating stories, Maha.
Thank you. I did my due diligence. They were all on one website. I didn't have to go far.
What's that website? Should we shout them out?
Okay. Yeah. Maybe they'll.
Airbnb. Fuckshit.
Boardpanda.com.
Oh, I've heard of Board Panda before.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not an internet guy, but well, this has been another episode of Once Upon a Bnb. I'm one of your hosts, Ian.
This is Maha. See you next time.